Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Smart Preparation to Success. So as a part of our TGPSC Group 1 preparation, now we are on the day 13th to-do list. సో ఈరోజు కొంచెం లేట్ అయింది. సో మనకి ఉన్న టైంలో నేను టు-డూ లిస్ట్ ఇలా చేసుకున్నాను. సో మీరు ఎవరైనా మార్నింగ్ నుంచి చదివే వాళ్ళు ఉంటే లెట్స్ కంటిన్యూ. ఓకే, సో నేను 2 టాపిక్స్ని చదవాలనుకుంటున్నాను ఈరోజు, హైకోర్ట్ అండ్ సబార్డినేట్ కోర్ట్స్. సో బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దీస్ 2 టాపిక్స్ పైన 2 మెయిన్స్ క్వశ్చన్స్. ఓకే, first question, discuss the constitutional position, powers and jurisdiction of the high courts in India. Examine their role in protecting fundamental rights and supervising the subordinate judiciary. Second question, explain the structure and functioning of the subordinate courts in India. Analyze the control of the high court over subordinate courts and its significance for judicial independence and efficiency. These are the 2 questions. So these are the today to-do list. Try to finish it. పోస్ట్పోన్ చేయకండి మ్యాక్సిమం. ఒకవేళ ఈరోజు మీరు ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ చేయకపోయినా టుమారో రేపు అయినా ఫినిష్ చేయండి. ఓకే, అండ్ డే 12th ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్ ఏవైతే క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇచ్చానో దాని ఆన్సర్స్ కూడా ఇప్పుడు నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఫస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, discuss the constitutional position of the Supreme Court of India, examine its role as a guardian of the Constitution and the final interpreter of fundamental rights. So answer, introduction, Supreme Court గురించి ఉండాలి. So the Supreme Court of India, established under Article 124, is the apex judicial body and the final court of appeal. It occupies a pivotal position in India's constitutional framework as the guardian of the Constitution and the protector of fundamental rights. Now, constitutional position of the Supreme Court. Established under Part 5, Part 4 of the Constitution. Independent judiciary ensured through security of tenure, fixed service conditions, power to punish for contempt. Binding nature of judgments under Article 141. Second one, guardian of the Constitution. Exercises judicial review, protects the basic structure of the Constitution. According to Keshwananda Bharti case. Settles center state disputes, Article 131. Ensures supremacy of the Constitution over legislature and the executive. Final interpreter of fundamental rights, Article 32 empowers citizens to directly approach the Supreme Court for enforcement of fundamental rights. Expanded the scope of rights through liberal interpretation, especially Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Developed doctrines such as due process, proportionality, reasonableness. Conclusion, the Supreme Court's constitutional position ensures the balance of power, rule of law, and protection of citizens' rights. As the guardian of the Constitution and final interpreter of fundamental rights, it remains the cornerstone of India's constitutional democracy. Second question, differentiate between judicial review and judicial activism in India. Discuss their scope and limitations with reference to the role of the Supreme Court. Judicial review and judicial activism are 2 important mechanisms through which the Supreme Court upholds constitutional governance. While both aim to protect constitutional values, they differ in approach and extent. Difference between judicial review and judicial activism. Judicial review, judicial activism. So it is a power to examine constitutionality of laws and executive actions. Proactive role of to address issues behind traditional interpretation. Explicitly provided, implied, evolved through judgments. Reactive, and it is a proactive. Now uphold constitutional supremacy. Ensure social justice and good governance. Now scope. Scope, నేను ఇలా రాశాను. Judicial review. First, strike down constitutional laws. Protects fundamental rights, maintain federal balance. About judicial activism, expansion of Article 21, it has litigations for environment, governance, human rights, filling legislative and executive vacuum. Limitations, judicial reviews cannot question policy wisdom, respect for separation of powers. Judicial activism, risk of judicial overreach, lack of democratic accountability, implementation challenges. Conclusion, judicial review is the constitutional foundation of judicial power, while judicial activism is its dynamic expression when exercised with restraint both strengthen democracy. However, excessive activism may disturb the balance among organs of the state. So these are the 2 answers. So అందరూ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. If you have any doubts, comment చేయండి, డెఫినెట్గా నేను రిప్లై ఇస్తాను. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.